From the art of the deal to keeping it real. Live from the Simply Vegas studios, it's The Power Move with John Gafford.
Back again for another wonderful episode of The Power Move. I am your host, John Gafford, live from the Simply Vegas studios, as the man said when we let in. Sitting to my left, Colt, party boy, Amidan. Colt.
Hey, you read my
I did.
Good.
Party boy.
Read his Wikipedia page.
Right on the Wikipedia page. Sitting across from us is the counselor, Connell. Counselor, how are you?
How are you guys? Living the dream.
You know what, man? I'm doing good. And sitting next to you is our special guest today, AJ. How you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, man, of course. You know, anytime that Chris, when Colt says I got somebody we should have on the show, I immediately am fearful for that.
Well, we get on a list because we're within 200 feet of a school.
So we have to make sure we're okay for that when that happens.
Really, this is this kind of podcast.
Them putting that church down the street has messed it up.
But when Chris says we should have somebody on, we normally say, okay, we could probably make that happen. Yeah. And, let's face it, dude, you pulled up here to McLaren, so got my attention. I mean, I'm easy. Let's face it, I'm like a 15-year-old kid. I'm like, ooh, he's got a McLaren. What does he do? I want to know about that. Yep. But, we do live in Las Vegas, and occasionally those that listen to us from around the world, around the country, wherever you are, if you're one of our 10,000 subscribers, here comes my quick pandering. Make sure you like, subscribe, whatever you do. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you click that like button. Every little bit helps. And if you haven't given us a review wherever you are, make sure you do that. But today we're going to talk about the art of sports betting, man. Correct. Which is what it is.
Yeah.
AJ, one of the premier sports betting services in town, which means he doesn't necessarily go place his own money. He's just very good at handicapping. So he tells you what you should play for.
I do both.
He does both.
Yeah, I do both.
And it's a solid business, and it is. And it's, anybody that can build a business to the level of where you have, man, in what you have. The idea here is to kind of uncover and find some of those clues is what we're going to do. So that's the goal of what we're doing. But first, we got to talk. We always start off the top of the show. We're talking about some current events. We do.
Cool.
First of all, by the time this comes out, it'll be out, so I don't even care. Some mind-blowing shit happened yesterday. I mean, mind-blowing. I'm not going to say the person's name, but a friend of ours that we all know, and you guys know this, a friend of ours that we all know, his parents died when he was very young, and always kind of questioned, the history of himself. My wife fancies herself to be an internet sleuth. Exactly. She's definitely, they're all. She's definitely Dr. Google.
Yeah,
I'll give her
FBI agent.
Every single guy in this room went like.
Oh yeah. So wow. Just know you try to pull some stuff. My wife's going to find it anyway. So my wife just kind of volunteered to help him poke around a little bit, right? So after poking around and looking at a couple of things that came up zeros, she's like, you got to do the 23andMe thing. You just got to do it. Let's try to find something there. So he does the 23andMe thing, right? Mm-hmm. And so he gets the results and he literally sends it to her. He goes, I don't know how to look at this. You just look at it for me. She goes, okay. So she logs in and she goes, and the first thing that pops up is, hey, here's your half brother.
Oh, shit.
That he never knew. And so we start looking up this. There's a picture of him on the 23andMe, and he looks a lot like him.
Had that guy just friend requested me out of the blue, I'd be like, oh, I didn't know you were his brother.
Yeah. Brother. No, so we start looking up, dude, this dude, we find his Instagram, and they look just the same. I mean, it's really startling how similar they look, and they're have a lot of similar hobbies based on this. The political views might tend to differ a little bit from where they are from what I saw, but it's crazy, and right now he's kind of processing that as we go along. So hopefully we'll have an update on that next week.
Isn't it crazy how your genes are your genes? Like I had a friend that she didn't know her dad, and her dad I knew very well. Very Al Pacino. He's Al Pacino, right? Just very aggressive.
Like literally Al Pacino?
If I brought him in, you're like, holy shit.
Charlie.
Al Pacino, right? And
or this.
You are here to help us. You are here to help us.
She met him when she was 30 years old. And I'm telling you, when I met her, I'm like, holy shit, you are identical to the dad that she's never known. I mean, it's crazy how those.
Did you tell her that you look like Al Pacino? Was that a nice thing?
Yeah. No, how she acted. Just how her manners, everything. She didn't look like
Lady, you look a lot like Al Pacino.
Take that. No, she's God rest her soul.
Oh,
She was taken out in the October 1 shooting, but she was a great person.
And
but
that was it.
it's just funny how your genes are your genes.
Yes.
No matter
Absolutely.
what you want to say, your attitude's your attitude.
You're there.
The
So
internet's undefeated.
Yeah.
Man has never won in a battle against concrete.
No.
And as much as you try to pretend what you aren't, I was never going to be a ballerina. So.
no, that was it. No, so I thought that was like, I mean, Scott goes, man, there should be a show for this, and I'm like, there is, dude. There's a show right now on there that says that, which is crazy.
Crazy.
So also this weekend, thank God, only a couple kids got injured at our annual Mardi Gras party, which was awesome. In retrospect, for AJ, you don't know this, I throw a monster Mardi Gras
I
party
saw on
every
his
year.
stories. Yeah.
And next year we got to go. I do build a float off the front of my house, but the height of a normal Mardi Gras float is about you're talking about the beads are coming from a good 6 feet off the ground. When we're throwing them from basically, it was
26 feet.
Yeah, it was a carpet bombing strike.
Before we continue on, there was an assumption of risk, by the way,
Yes,
inherent in the entire process. So
there was.
you don't need to change your behavior.
Okay, that's
People
fine.
need to assume different risks had they not.
No,
been.
I just think from
Just like gambling.
Not say it.
Just like gambling.
I'm just saying from now on,
They're
I think
heavy beads.
Yeah, we're not getting the heavy beads next year. We'll go with the lighter ones because
Gonna knock people over.
No, I heard
They
it
were
was,
hitting hard.
Yeah, they were coming down. My wife's got a lot of cut on her.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, not that that's funny, honey. Sorry, I'm laughing about
Shouldn't have been winding up when throwing them.
Yeah, no, well,
my
no.
goodness.
So, great Mardi Gras party this
Great,
weekend. Nobody
great
got
party.
hurt. It was awesome. Thank you guys for coming and being part of that.
That
It's
band.
always near and dear. Yeah, the band was great,
was
right?
awesome.
Yeah. I love the look on people's faces when they walked in and they're like, oh, and they're like, there's a band here. It's like, oh yeah, there's a band here.
Wow.
That was a great party. Great party.
It was
The
good.
band was amazing.
It was good.
We had a good time.
It was great. So
I'll be there next year.
Yeah, you'll be there, AJ. So what
sure.
else?
Next time we're going
What so what else for current? I mean, I don't want to jump on the Ukraine event. I mean, obviously,
But did you
that's
see
every
it's
channel.
40
See what?
miles long, that the whole convoy coming in? How do
yeah.
you not just
don't-
bomb
Insane,
it? Yeah,
I
40
just
miles
I don't think this is playing out in Putin's favor right now.
It's
I
not.
think they ran
It's
out
not.
of gas.
I don't think it's not. I think
There's a page on Twitter. It's called Anonymous.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that.
yeah, no.
They're like releasing every.
Oh, the
detail.
hackers?
Yes.
Oh,
they
yeah.
hacked Putin's yacht.
Oh boy.
The government websites. They're letting.
And they're just letting
out.
Have you
everything
seen the women, the Ukrainian women, catfishing on the Ukrainian Tinder?
Oh, what is
And
this?
getting like, oh yeah, I'll meet up with you. Where are you guys going to be tomorrow? And they're like, oh, we're supposed to be here. Whatever.
The Russian guys are?
This is why I'd like to go on
this
record.
is how the Russians are going to lose this war because Tinder.
And only
That
fans.
would-
This is how they're going to
Their
lose.
Vodka soaked libidos are going to submarine the whole thing. So let me tell you this. I just want to go on record. That is the number reason why I don't believe that 9/11 could have been an inside job. All these conspiracies require a group of men, mainly men out there, whatever, to keep their mouths shut for a period of time.
Not possible.
It's not possible.
Not possible.
Because they'd be at Chicas Bonitas hanging out beside the party
They
boy.
would be.
Why'd you point at him?
I'm just pointing in a general direction.
We need to get them to sponsor us. We give them way too much free. We give them way
Chica's
too many.
Bonitas for your next
A guy would be sitting there at Chicas Bonitas being like, well, I'd like to get some attention from him. Hey, I know what happened in 9/11. I was there. We strapped the building foundation with, C4 or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think that I think this is not going the way he thought it was going to go. Now, the only thing that's scary about it is, do you think, and here's the only question I want to ask about this, at some point are the people around him going to say, maybe we just need to take him out?
Those oligarchs.
they already
those-
are.
That's what I'm saying. The oligarchs are going to be
They are.
squeezed.
He's going to lose a lot of that support that minute it hits a pocketbook. Just like in life.
Absolutely.
It's already hitting.
Yeah. They already did.
Yeah.
Already did.
They already said the guy that owns is it Emirates? What team does he own? Soccer.
Yeah,
football?
they pull MLS.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
or
pulled it.
the big one out over in Europe. The
happened today
billionaire
in the
guy
morning.
is like, I'm having a call with this guy now.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Well,
pissed.
They
But
pulled
here-
him out from every.
But here's the
sport
thing.
there is.
Here's the thing. But again, because he's threatened. I mean, he's the kind of guy like, if there's no Russia, there's no reason for a world. And honestly, I believe he believes in his head. If there's no Russia, there's no me, there's no Russia.
Yeah.
So my question is, if he says we're going to launch all these missiles, do you think these Russian soldiers are really going to push those buttons?
So you're talking about NORAD. Our best hope is that the ICBMs or whatever, our defense is, good enough that it's
Yeah.
not going to. But that's just a reality, and that's the problem with these big dick swinging competitions is when you have mutually assured destruction with, nuclear proliferation, that was the point of it. That's why they have it in Pakistan, India, England, Ukraine had it. You look at these major forces, these major countries, it's supposed to be everybody has it so nobody uses it.
Right.
Then you get maniacs out there, like Putin, and you just it's a legitimate reality.
Yeah. No,
How much do you think you get paid to be that guy that pushes a button? I mean, they gotta be paid good, right? They gotta be the guy. How cool! Like, is that the number one job title you want?
But here's the point.
That's the top job title out there, right?
Yeah. No, but the point is, you push that button. It doesn't matter how much money you got because you're going to be gone in the next 9 to 12 minutes.
But
you're going to not
put that
be
on
there.
a business
You
card.
have to be a loyalist. You have to be a loyalist to a degree where.
So Colt wants a business card that says my fingers on the button.
Yeah, nuke guy. Nuke pusher. Imagine going to the bar. What do you do for a living? Oh, I work here, this, and then the guy's like, yeah.
Colt, it's not actually a button, right?
Just a key. I saw
just want you to know it's a whole series. It's a big, long series of things that need to happen. Just
maybe in the United States, but in Russia, I'm walking in and it's like just a glove room with a glass box.
One guy
and you're gonna open it.
Just open the glass box and go.
And he's got half a bottle of vodka. He's just sitting there waiting. Yeah. He's looking at like a phone from the 50s, just with his finger on it.
Do not push. You push. Please don't push less more.
Don't push. Bad things happen.
You know what I'm finding out today, and I think AJ too. Chris does a lot of great, amazing
guy, and I'm like,
that's why we were late because he was doing some Cuban accent. He was doing all sorts of
Chapo accent.
El Chapo.
Now Russian accent.
Yeah, I think the problem is we need to turn this into a puppet show. I think if it's a puppet show, we get
dress up. Chris,
Terry Fader, you better watch your back, Terry Fader.
They're coming in as Putin next week, Chris.
Coming in hot. Well,
coming in hot.
Well, let's talk about, guys, because we do try to talk about business success at some point on this podcast, which is great. So I do want to get to you, AJ, and talk about what you do, who you do it for. But dude, the first thing that we always talk about when we do these things is I want to talk about the early days because success leaves clues, and for several reasons. There's several current themes that we always have that seem to run together here with everybody we have in. And then, for those of us also that are raising kids, it's also good to kind of see the direction that you should push your kids if you want to be successful, because that's another bonus of this stuff. So where did you grow up, man? Tell us the humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings.
Tell us you.
Well, I grew up in England.
You sure?
Yeah, I think I grew up somewhere.
I grew up in,
you might be in a simulation.
Exactly.
But no, I was born in England. Moved to the States when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
And my parents separated, and then they got remarried and came back to Vegas. Don't know why.
Remarried to each other?
No, they separated and they got remarried and a whole bunch, stuff.
Your mom and dad both moved here, or no?
Yeah. Well, my stepdad, and the reason I moved here because the reason I moved to Vegas is because they've separated.
Okay.
My real dad and my mom.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
And then I moved here with my stepdad and my mom.
Got it.
Back in 2006, 7, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Almost 16 years ago.
Okay. So you're young. How old were you?
I'm 32 now.
So you're 32. Okay.
Yeah.
So back in 2007.
Yeah. So that's when I graduated high school.
Where'd you go to high school? Here in
Bonanza.
Bonanza.
Mormon Gorman.
It's borderline Mormon Gorman, I would say.
That always shocked me.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there were so many Mormons at that school.
Oh my God, it's insane.
Everybody makes that joke.
Insane.
Yep. There you go.
It's good though.
It's good.
A lot of my friends were Mormon, I would say, when I grew up with. And then, man, I graduated. So
how old were you moved here? When you moved here, how old were you?
To the States, I was 4 or 5.
What about Vegas?
Vegas, I was 16 and a half.
All right, so let me ask you a question. So pre-moving to Vegas, where were you?
What was I doing?
Where were you?
I was in Orange County, California.
In Orange County, okay.
Newport.
Got it. You're Newport. Okay, good. So when you were in Newport, at what age did you get your first hustle that started making money?
I think not necessarily when I was in Newport.
Okay.
I think when everything changed, when like what happened with the whole recession, with my parents lost everything.
What are your parents doing?
They were account executives at Caesars, and my mom was a flight attendant. for British Airways. Yep. And she have a little brother. He's 18, and she kind of stopped working for him to kind of raise him, and then dad was kind of like the breadwinner of the whole thing. And I think when it started, when I saw how bad they were struggling, and during 07, 06, like when I knew the shit was gonna hit the fan, is when I realized, like, hey man, this corporate life that he's going through is probably not the same route that I want to go to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of where like I just selling baseball cards here and there, like buying shoes online and flipping them on,
the flipping of the shoes.
I love my kicks,
always
man.
Something.
I love, it's your money gets longer, your shoes get larger.
That's it.
Or more expensive,
it.
and then
shoes,
jewelry.
You can't see his shoes he's got on right now, but they're nice looking. I like those.
Colt, you could not pull those shoes off.
If I had those shoes,
10, so
I wouldn't be wearing any other clothes. Walking around just shoes.
Just these on.
Shoes.
Just the shoe. That's all shoes you do. That's all about.
Yeah. And
Don't make me borrow them.
So you're flipping cards, doing that in high school.
Yeah.
Graduate from Bonanza. What happens then?
I went to UNLV.
Okay.
I got accepted for UNLV, and then I was there for 4 years. And
So you finished UNLV.
I finished. Yeah.
Good for
I'm
you.
a BA in business minor in law.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. So.
Is that where you met? Is that where you met the counselor over there?
No.
His
We actually
esteemed-
met through a mutual friend of ours, and we were trying to figure out who that was for the longest.
It's called.
We have so many friends in common. I'm pretty sure you and I have probably like hundreds of friends.
Well, Grinder Connect is a great connection.
I don't know about that guy. I don't know about that. I don't know these two.
J-Day for me, it was Christian Mingle for John.
No, it was,
Farmers only.
farmers only. That's of course what it was.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Don't sleep on J-Date though.
Right.
No. All right. So you're. So go to UNLV.
Yeah.
So you're graduating. So where were you working during college? Were you working during college?
And so that's when the hustle started for
Okay,
me.
got it. Yep.
I was working for AT&T.
Okay.
I started as just a sales rep, and that company kind of taught me how to probe with customers, like how to build a rapport, everything from in and out, how to like make sure that they're taken care of.
So wait, were you working in store? Or were you like
in
on
store.
the phone?
Like I
So
ran
working-
I've worked at Whitney Ranch AT&T store, all corporate. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I worked there
Selling
for 4
cellular.
years. Yeah, I was selling cell phones as
Got
a
it.
sales rep, and for a couple of years, and then they promoted me supervisor, assistant store manager, and then boom, I ran the store. I broke apart when I was the youngest manager there.
Nice.
Yeah, so killing it, crushing it, made good money. And at the same time, while I was going to UNLV, I was working at Starbucks as a barista. So I'm doing 2 jobs, managing a girlfriend. And you know what I'm talking about.
Can you ever really manage your girlfriend? I think no, you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't.
Well, obviously, I'm not with her for a reason.
There you go. Yes.
Like Jack Welch says, you got to fire the bottom 20%.
Jesus.
So I worked at Starbucks.
So you're going to
AT&T.
school, working
Yeah.
at Starbucks, and you're also working at AT&T.
Yeah, 2 jobs.
So, well, question. Okay,
Crazy,
why when you're working at AT&T and you're making good money, why Starbucks?
Well, the Starbucks was like when I was 19.
Got it.
Like, I should have started with that and then I've done it over. But I don't know. I just like because they were paying for like half my school. You know,
Got
Starbucks
it.
is really good with that.
Is this what took so long for you guys to get back here? Was he making the coffee?
No, I was
steaming
actually
some
going
milk.
to Dutch Bros.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm cheating on Starbucks.
yeah.
Walked in with the Dutch
Fed
Bros.
me for 2 years.
Paid your college.
So-
Clearly, I'm not loyal to Starbucks anymore.
But here's
Like
okay. So
Machiavelli says.
here's what, because this is an interesting point. This is an interesting thing because most kids that are in college are just looking to get a fake ID and go get drunk. I mean, you're working 2
done
jobs. No, I'm with that. But I'm saying, but I'm saying, so what in it was the driver for you to say, I'm going to work these 2 jobs and get up and do this every day and go to class and do all this?
100%. No, the drive was to never rely on one stream of income.
Even as a young, because you
Man,
saw,
I've been a
because
hustler since I was 16.
because you saw what happened to your parents
My
when
parents,
when the
that
giver of the
scarred
paycheck
me.
took the paycheck away.
Yeah. Like imagine going from making $200,000 a year, my parents, my dad, and then done. Like you lost your 2 houses in Vegas, and you left me in Vegas, and they all moved back to LA because they had a house. They had still had a house over there. And then now I pretty much raised myself since I was 19
Yeah,
by myself, no help.
no help,
No.
including paying for school.
Yeah.
Were you taking loans or were you paying as you go?
I had the millennial,
Okay.
like the 2 year, and now obviously I have no student loans,
Yeah.
but got everything taken care of.
Okay. So so let me ask you a question. I'm just curious about this. We'll step on some political views here a little bit.
Shit.
No. So you were a guy that worked 2 jobs. You were a guy that did, you got through school, you paid off your student debt. You've done that. Do you feel that the US government should pay off everybody's debt, or somebody should have to pay it off themselves?
Ooh.
Yeah, just curious.
As a graduate, I would say I think that's tough. I personally think schools should be free to everyone.
Okay.
I think that's what I think it is.
Like a rising tide lifts all ships kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? The more educated your fan base is, you're
I think you'll have better conversations.
There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong answer to that. I look back and I hear the story of somebody that bootstrapped themselves up, including paying for university, and then I kind of see it should just be given, to a certain extent. And
I personally,
no, go ahead.
I personally don't think that one thing shouldn't be left out because you're giving out student forgiveness loans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're giving out a loan and then it's going to be forgiven, then that shouldn't be taken out of somewhere else.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I don't think someone else should suffer because the kids want to go to school for free.
No, I agree. No, but I think the tuition reimbursement should also be tied to the results in school.
100%. You
can be straight A's. I'm gonna write you a check.
100%.
You know what? That is a good point. I think for some kids, it's better that they work and grind and pay for it themselves.
Yeah.
Like I don't have student loans
because they have to have skin in the game.
Right. Some kids it's better to have skin in the game.
Yep.
Some kids wouldn't do it. Some kids don't have the same opportunity to have skin in the game. Like this whole bootstraps, you got to pull yourself up thing. It's not always going to be the same for a lot of kids because if you come home, there's it's one of those things. You meet kids and you go, that kid's going to make it. He could be in Siberia. He's going to make it. It's just his DNA cries out to make it.
They're wired different.
They're wired different. And these kids, though, that have it all and they're pouty and they don't do much for themselves, they could probably have poor parents to be the same thing or rich parents of the same thing. It's just, but how do you get everybody kind of...
Well, again, I think
opportunities, right?
Look, we've all talked about this before. I am 1,000% for equality of opportunity. Equality of outcome is up to you. That's 100% the way that I think.
Yep.
And that's why, like, if you I don't mind the concept of college being free if you do the work.
Yeah, you shouldn't get paid to go to school and then go party at night.
No, because here's the
2.0 GPA.
Because here's the point.
That's
right. Let me be the first. Let me be the first one to say, as someone that did not finish college, as I did not, that would be my dumbass.
Yeah.
Right. I'd be like, woohoo!
Free money. Yeah.
Dude, it was Pell Grant. Let's party. Dad's paying for it. Whatever. Blah blah. And that's why maybe 2.5 years into it, I decided the institution had nothing further to offer me. Yeah. Now, that being said, I think that there's a lot of people that probably would do the same thing as I would.
Yeah.
So
nowadays, look what I do for a living now.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, I went to school. I think pretty much. So my background, I'm Puerto Rican and Indian. So I have an Indian background. My parents are. So they're very strict. It's like, I don't know if you guys have any Indian friends.
Oh yeah.
I've met a few.
Why aren't you a doctor?
There it is. I was just about to say that.
Why aren't you a doctor?
Why aren't you a software engineer? Why aren't you a fucking rocket scientist?
Right.
A doctor,
Do you have siblings?
I have one.
Is he a doctor?
No, he's 18. Not yet.
Okay, he's 18.
I guess I'm pretty sure he's going to be a heart surgeon or something.
God help you when he becomes a heart surgeon.
Hopefully he'll help me when I need a heart transplant or something.
Nick Dosa was here before you.
Right. He's Indian.
Yeah, exactly.
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian, but cultural sort of
absolutely.
where mom was like,
okay, listen.
How are you going to go be a doctor?
Did you say Canadians and Indians? That's it. Okay, Canadians do not expect their kids to be doctors.
Canadian Indian.
Canadian Indian.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But still from Indian cultural.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, they don't mess around.
Nick was the same way. He was like, bro, it's just
you're going to be a doctor.
Nick's a good friend of mine. So
you're going to be a doctor. You're going to go to med school. Which
or otherwise we're going to not love you for the rest of your life.
Yes, I love this.
No joke. That happened to me. That's like, I'm not tight with my parents right now. I'm not, because I chose a completely different life than they wanted me to do.
Well, let's talk about that. So you get it. So
crazy.
You're
to
coming.
This day,
so
I'm 32.
You're hustling. So you're hustling.
Yes,
okay,
I'm not kidding. It's insane.
Mom, see, I feel like almost we should call his mom right now. Try to bring it back together.
She's not going to answer. I think she'll be blocked.
This would be like.
I'm kidding.
Isn't that wild? I had one of my buddies was one of the original Facebook guys, Indian.
Wow.
He could not tell his mom he didn't work at Facebook anymore. He didn't need to. He retired, right? And he was so afraid. He goes, my mom will yell at me and be so disappointed. So he goes back. He would go back home for years and pretend that he was still working. Like,
what's that, Mark Zuckerberg? Just working on that.
That culture is so just the Chinese culture, same thing.
In their 50s, they're completely like blinded from what's happening in 10 years from down the road.
You could be a billionaire and they would
still wouldn't
be proportionally successful.
And especially if you don't marry an Indian girl. Oh my God.
Yeah. Look out.
Oh, and my girl now is Caucasian, so good luck with that.
Yeah,
she definitely has me blocked.
Yeah, you're done. You're definitely done. So you're in college. What was the hustle in college? You said the hustling began in college.
Shoes, man. I was just getting into that game and
flipping shoes.
You know, and then on top of that, I'm trying to go back. This is years ago, right? This is we're talking 12 years ago. I knew a lot of frat boys, and all my boys were in fraternities and SAE, Delta Chi, all that crazy.
Phi Alpha, baby. Phi Alpha.
Yep.
Phi Alpha Delta.
You know, and so our thing was like I was really I knew everyone when I was growing up. So our thing was like, hey, let's get a warehouse, let's throw a party, like, let's make some side money coming in. Like these kids has money. They have money. And then we were renting out the Italian American Club. You remember the Eastern and Charleston?
Oh yeah,
remember that big old.
I go there once a week. He goes pictures of once a week. I go there.
Good food, right?
Yeah,
it's Italian American Club. It's a good place. And so I thrown we've thrown so many parties there just so that we could have some side money going in and out, and then I slowly kind of like got away from that party life. I've done it. I'm like, this is not really my thing.
Yeah.
And then focused on having another stream of income while going to school.
Okay. So
which was AT&T.
So that was AT&T.
Yeah. So I left
there.
Starbucks after working 2 years.
In Starbucks. And then now you're at AT&T, where they taught you really how to sell.
Man, that's one of the best companies I've ever worked for.
Really?
That's interesting.
It is interesting. I would never.
AT&T, Starbucks, Disney, those are like one of the three biggest companies that they teach you so much when it comes to like.
So you were customer service.
This is my age.
Yeah.
11, 12 years.
So they were teaching you customer experience. They were teaching you.
Yeah,
everything
what
was the coolest thing you would say you learned from AT&T when it comes to creating a magical customer experience?
I had customers that came back to me just so they could see me. They could just talk to me. I've just been a very good listener, I guess. And I don't think not anymore. I'm not a good listener. Right. But I guess back in the day, they just come by, they bring their friends, their families, and like, hey man, hook me up, this and that. And then it just, I don't know. I made sure that they were treated like family every single time that they walked in.
So good.
So I made sure my employees were treating the same way when new people coming in and out of the store. So our store was number one in the district when I was running it.
Just because of how you do.
Because of how I was closing.
It's what's so funny. You take something as goofy as a cell phone, and let's face it.
But remember, this back in the day when iPhone 3GS.
This back in the day. I literally, if something goes wrong with my iPhone now, I'm on T-Mobile. I'm just like, my first thought is, oh shit, I have to go to T-Mobile. Like it's the worst thing in the world. Like we talked about taking a kick in the ass instead of resetting your credit cards.
Yeah,
dude, my wife's ringer on her iPhone the other day died, and I'm looking at each other like, oh God, please come back because we don't want to go deal with the store. Because here's why. Here's a question. So when I go to the T-Mobile store, and it's not even the T-Mobile employees, it's not them. That's the problem. There's somebody in there going, well, does it have a calculator? Can you show me the calculator? And you're like, bro, there's like, get on YouTube. There's a million videos for how to do what you're trying to do. Yeah. And it just does not stop.
Take everybody up.
I'd take T-Mobile over going to Apple though. You got to get on a list. You got to do all that shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I have friends at Apple now, like good higher ups and like
the juicy
sales reps too. And then now they're like, hey man.
Well, let's get to let's move on from AT&T and get to the nuts and bolts because you went right to AT&T. So
how do you
find the casinos? When does that little bug start to bite you?
Vegas.
Well, yeah,
that, and then I used to day trade, and back then with very small amount of bankroll in it.
So you started day trading,
like option trading and stuff like that, and just playing with the stock market here and there. I've always been a numbers guy all my life. Like I like
just
that
makes
quick
sense
profit. I like that quick money. But then I realized quick money is not going to be wealth. That's not going to build me wealth.
No.
So And I realized like if I could study these games, and I love sports, and I never played it when I was in high school or in college. I've never played, but I've loved when I could turn an outcome into an income.
Well, let me ask you a question. So would you consider yourself an expert at analyzing games?
Absolutely.
An expert at analyzing athletes?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Umpires.
All right. And you can do it. You can do it as easy as taking a glance at somebody.
Yeah. It's like
you can just look at them top to bottom and you know where we're going.
You tell you what kind of courts.
All right. Let me ask you one very important question. All right.
Yeah.
Looking at the man sitting to my left,
Should I take my shirt off?
Do you think there's any way,
take that beautiful blazer
just
off,
looking at him, in any way, in any sport, he could compete in the Olympic Games?
Yeah, he got it.
No, maybe no.
Dude, I am telling you.
No.
Curling guys.
No.
How about this?
He's going to be the best curler.
Let's go.
Equestrian.
Pick a sport, and I'll put money up against you. Any sport. We'll go play it one day.
You said you could be in the Olympics in equestrian at an Olympic level inside of 1 year.
How about this, guys?
Said.
You guys supplement my income for a year. I will go train for a year, and then you can be free sponsorships. I will give you free sponsorships.
I'm already your sponsor.
I know, same, but still. Dude,
McDonald's. I'm
telling you, if I went through, there's probably
you're not gonna like what you're
10%. No, there's probably 10% of sports I could become. I'm convinced after watching Olympics.
The only one I would say that maybe you have a prayer at that I did see in the Winter Olympics for the first time is where the dude lays on the other dude on the luge. Because that just seems like a bar story that went too far. Like, I could do that. I can lay on Bill and go down the luge. No, you can't. Sure, I can.
Just something about Colt where his weight ratio and balance is perfect. It's the guy on the bottom does all the work.
I don't even know if I need a year of training. I train every other weekend doing that.
And you'd be good.
Didn't that guy fly off one of those things and like smash
and died? Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we come back. We're actually getting into I don't know. Colt may hijack the show as he's known to do. But when we go back from the break, we're going to talk about more about AJ and get actually into the business of sports betting, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. Hang on, we'll be right back. Hey, it's John Gafford. If you want to catch up more and see what we're doing, you can always go to thejohngafford.com. where we'll share any links things we talked about on the show, as well as links to the YouTube where you can watch us live. And if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, you can always follow me at @thejohngafford. I'm here. Give me a shout.